think that being healthy, fit and strong should be hard, but I really want it to be fast. And I've been an exercise professional all of my life, and my number one question has always been, what is the bare ass minimum, the BAM amount of exercise, the BAM amount of puffing and lifting that you can do to be healthy, fit and strong for the rest of your life? And I think it's a really important question, because most people don't want to exercise, and even the people that are exercising will tell you that they don't like it. I'm doing it so I don't get fat. I'm doing it so I don't end up sick and weak and old and diseased. But if I could have the perfect body without exercising, well, there's a great question. If you could have the perfect body without doing any exercise at all, would you still exercise? Most people say no. So what is the quickest, shortest, fastest, best way, safest way to get healthy, fit and strong? What are the fundamentals? Because it seems that we get caught up in the got to have an ice bath, got to have a sauna, got to take some pills, got to have a protein bar, got to do a pre-workout shake, before we think about what are the absolute fundamentals to be healthy, fit and strong, particularly when you're as old as I am, because the older I get, the more important being healthy, fit and strong seems to be. I don't want to be a fat, old, diseased, weak old lady. That's just not, I don't want that. So how do I stay healthy, fit and strong? And here's another important question. There's a lot of things you can buy, pills, powders, potions, machines, programs, pieces of electronic equipment that supposedly help you get healthy, fit and strong. But what if you didn't have any money, or what if you couldn't afford to buy all those things? Could you still be fit and could you still be strong? And of course the answer is yes, because to get fit you've got to get puffed, and to get strong you've got to overload your muscles and bones. You've got to lift something heavy, heavier than you can lift at the moment. And both of those things, you don't have to have a piece of equipment to do that. So if there was a quicker, safer, better way to get fit and strong than what you're doing at the moment, would you give it a crack? And even if you love exercising for hours and hours, and I'll use myself as an example simply because I'm absolutely passionate about, for example, being in my garden for hours and hours. I like to lift and carry rocks and logs and wheelbarrows full of sand and rocks, and I love being outside for hours and hours. But I don't consider that to be exercise. That's just living my life. To get really fit and to get really strong, I need to do it in the shortest way possible, in the safest way possible, so that if I ever don't have time to exercise, as most people say, then I don't have an excuse, because the quickest, fastest way to get healthy, fit and strong is to overload your body at 100% effort. And 100% effort gives you 100% results. That just makes sense, doesn't it? So there's 3 energy systems in the body. I bang on about this every single day. Anatomy and physiology is actually not that complicated. If you put in 100% effort in the phosphate system, that's the fight and flight system. That's why I've got gloves on, because I like to fight. I think there's a better headspace for fighting than there is from running away from the threat. That system only lasts for 10 seconds. That's the 100% effort system. Now the other 2 systems will get you fit in a longer, slower, different way. So we live in the aerobic system, for example. So yes, you can plod jog, yes, you can go for a walk, and yes, you can do long exercise. But for people who hate exercise, or people who make the excuse I don't have time, surely that's not the best energy system to work in. We also live there 24/7 for most people. So there's no overload. If you want to get fit and strong, you've got to overload your heart and lungs, you've got to overload your muscles and bones. There's the lactate energy system. You can work very hard there, but for most people, and I hate it in there, because that's lactic acid, or that burning sensation inside your muscles. I'm not a fan of that, and for some people it makes them feel sick. So the only energy system that you can work at 100% effort is short and fast, the phosphate system, 10 seconds. So I'm in my office, I've got a boxing bag, skipping rope, I can do jump squats, I can sprint on the spot. There's a whole heap of things you can do to get fit, because all you've got to do is get puffed for 10 seconds and for multiple times throughout the day. Surely it's not that complicated. People make exercise so hard and so boring and so expensive, but sprinting on the spot, you can do it in your pajamas. You don't need to have special shoes, you don't need to have special equipment. I've got a boxing bag, yes, but I don't need to have gloves even. You can punch a cushion, you can punch the lounge, you can air punch and still get really puffed. So rather than let's find the most complicated, boring, monotonous, expensive way to get your body into great shape, and yes, people do that horrible way. And I say horrible because for most people, 9 out of 10 people in the Western world, exercise is a horrible thing. I don't even want to call it exercise anymore. I just want to say, what am I doing today to get fit, and what am I doing today to get strong, and am I giving myself enough time to recover so that I can work at 100% effort? So 10 seconds, go as hard as you possibly can, doing the thing that you love the most or the thing that you hate the least, because your muscles are blind, your heart and lungs are blind. As long as you get puffed and as long as you overload all your muscles, you'll get fit and you'll get strong. So multiple times throughout the day, and the big benefit for that is not just the fitness and the strength. The big benefit is what happens to your brain. When you go at 100% effort, you get a chemistry change inside your brain. At 100% effort, your body thinks it's under threat, so you go into the fight and flight phosphate system. You produce epinephrine, adrenaline, cortisol, so you can go as hard as possible. Then when you have recovered from that 10-second intense bout of movement, your brain says, wow, we better be better for next time. So reward neurotransmitter dopamine, yay, you're still alive, well done. Serotonin, yay, you should be satisfied that you're still alive. That's the serotonin is the satisfaction neurotransmitter. Brain-derived neurotropic factor, one of my favorite things, BDNF, is the chemical response in your brain to we better be better for next time. It's the fertilizer inside your brain. So if you go really hard, 100% effort to get 100% result, every time you train, your body says, we've got to get better for next time, we've got to get better for next time. So you feel good, your brain feels good, your brain, well, now everything's easier. You can think more clearly, you can be a better critical thinker, you can be a better solution finder. If you've got a test or a hot date or a special important event, do something really intense, hard and fast, 10-second phosphate system. Yes, you'll get fitter and stronger in that system at 100% effort, but you change your brain chemistry as well. So you can do long, slow, boring, monotonous exercise if you want to, of course, and many millions of people do, I'm sure. It's also an interesting statistic to take note that 1 out of 10 people have an exercise program that will give them a result long-term for a lifetime. They'll actually stick to it. 9 out of 10 people are either not exercising at all, zero, or even if they are, they're not consistent, they're not regular, and they don't really enjoy it. But if you want to get the best results, you've got to do it consistently. And if it's too long and it's too boring, even if you have got plenty of time now, is it possible there'll be a time in your life where you've got a new job or a baby, or you go on holidays, or something comes up and you don't have time to exercise? So 10 seconds in the phosphate system, in the fight and flight system, will get you fitter and get you stronger, and then there's no excuses. So I always ask this question. I've been an exercise professional all of my life, and now I'm a very old lady. What's the BAM? What's the bare ass minimum of getting puffed and lifting heavy that you need to do to be the fittest and strongest you can possibly be? And for me, it's pretty simple. Get puffed to get fit, lift heavy to get strong, give yourself enough time to recover so you don't get injured and you don't burn out. And if the exercise is unsafe, then of course you're going to get injured. The program shouldn't be any more complicated than that. So I'm going to punch the bag for 10 seconds as hard as I possibly can so that I get absolutely puffed, and then I don't go again until I'm fully recovered. Now that might be in 5 minutes, it might be in a minute, it might be in 5 hours, it might be tomorrow. But constantly throughout my life, many times throughout the day, I get really puffed to get fit. I lift heavy maybe once every 7 days. The reason for that, of course, you've got to be recovered. If you don't go back to your strength training program fully recovered, all you do is keep breaking down muscle tissue rather than building it up. And I want to build my muscle because I want to be strong. Now, as a woman, I can't get bigger muscles, but I want to stay strong for the rest of my life. And I'm an old lady now, but I figure I'm about halfway through my life, because I reckon 120 is die peacefully in your sleep at 120 is probably a nice goal, barring accident or barring some kind of bad luck. So if you want to live your life to the max, could it be a great idea to ask the question, what is the least amount of exercise I need to do? What's my BAM, bare ass minimum, so that I've never got an excuse, so that I can be consistent and regular with my intense activity, so I can be healthy, fit and strong for the rest of my life and live my life to the max. Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max, yeah. Woo.